Welcome. We'll get started shortly. Before we begin, here's how to earn continuing professional education credit for attending this session. There are no polling questions or attendance checks. Instead, you will demonstrate your knowledge by taking a brief multiple-choice quiz using the Earmark app. Visit earmark.app in your web browser. You can also download the mobile app by scanning the QR code on the screen. Log in, or if you're new, create your free account. Be sure to use a valid email address because that's where we'll send your course completion certificates. From the home screen, scroll down to find the course. You can also tap the magnifying glass icon to search for the course. Tap on the course artwork, then the Enroll button. On the Course tab, you'll find the recording and quiz questions. Complete the quiz to earn your CPE certificate. It takes us a few days to create the course on the app, so if you are attending this session live, please wait a few days. We'll email you a link to the course when it is ready. If you have questions or need help, email us at support@earmarkcpe.com. And now, on to the event.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zach from Earmark, and thanks for joining us today. Welcome to AI-powered accounts payable, drive growth and efficiency for your firm. And I'm going to hand this over to your instructors for today, Nick Shandy. And before I do that, I'm going to pass this over to Jane Ingram for a few words from Forwardly.
Thank you so much, Zach. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here for today's webinar on AI-powered accounts payable. I'm Jane Ingram, the Director of Operations and Marketing at Forwardly, and I'll be introducing Forwardly today as well as Nick. If in case you haven't heard of it yet, Forwardly is designed for firms that want to introduce and scale their AP services efficiently without adding any kind of complexity or headcount or additional monthly subscription fees. So that's why today's session is about driving efficient AP processes. Forwardly provides instant AI native business payments. We can save you time, reduce errors, and make your bill pay an actual value add for your clients instead of a chore. So you can pay vendor bills in seconds with no more chasing approvals or cutting checks. We sync seamlessly with QuickBooks Online, Xero, FreshBooks, and Zoho Books, keeping everything clean and up to date. And you can invite your whole team with no extra user fees, track every approval and payments in a full audit trail for vendor bills. We're sponsoring this webinar because we know that outdated AP processes are holding firms back. Whether you're still cutting checks or you're stitching together a half dozen tools, there's a better way and it doesn't require a huge system overhaul. We are free to set up with no monthly subscription fees. And if you're ready to stop wasting time on bill pay and start unlocking, real efficiency for your firm, you can head over to forwardly.com to learn more about our real-time payments. We also offer white glove client migration services, one-to-one support, and exclusive partner benefits. In fact, I'll actually come back at the end of the webinar to talk a little bit more about what we offer our partners. So don't forget to add your questions as we go in the comments section, and we'll either answer them in the chat or we'll get to them all at the end. So without further ado, let me introduce Nick Shandy. He is the co-founder and CEO of Forwardly, and he'll be teaching today's webinar. Take it away, Nick.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. All right, so this is our today's agenda. I will start with a brief introduction about me, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about the current payment landscape, what we see out there, what are the challenges, and how it's such an inefficient process and a lot of manual work that's creating great opportunities for accounting firms. And this is what your clients are expecting too. You might have seen the innovation in the last few years. The AI has taken off, and the apps are changing, client expectations are changing, and we will talk about at the end what an AI-powered accounts payable system is going to look like that can help you build your practice in a scalable way. And at the end, we're going to have a look at the questions and answers that come from you. So please keep on sending to them, and Jane is making a note of all of them. So this is about me. I've been working in the accounting industry for over 20 years. So before founding Forwardly, I was the CEO of a company in Canada that was one of the largest IT services company providing services to accountants, bookkeepers, tax firms. We sold that business, and now I am solely dedicated to Forwardly. I also contribute to Forbes, and I write there occasionally on the issues faced by small businesses about cash flow, payments, or general business related issues that might come up about the finances of the business owners. I'm also a co-chair of BC Tech Scale C Council, and I am a part of few judging panels where I get a front row seat to see how smart businesses, how the new solutions are coming up in the U.S. domestic market. I get to see those entries and provide my feedback to these hardworking business owners. So this is the current landscape that we see. In the US market, businesses process around 25 to 30 trillion dollars every year. And that payment comes from ACH, cards, cash, domestic wire, checks. These are all the components you might have seen. And ACH takes almost 50% of it, around $15 trillion through ACH, whether it's a standard ACH, same day, next day ACH. But one bad news is what we see out there is, depending upon the data you look at, more than 40% businesses are still using checks in one way or the other. Either they are sending payments via check or they're receiving payments via check. And different studies shows that it costs anywhere between $8 to $20 or so to accept a check payment or send a check payment. Okay? As we know, checks, anytime you need to issue a payment with a check, you need to have the check stock printed, and someone will have to write it, enter in the accounting system. Then someone will have to chase those approvers, get them signed, and mail it out, and hopefully someone is going to receive on the other side. Very, very inefficient process. Such an inefficient process that businesses are spending over $500 billion on direct and hidden cost in payment processing. So that means this tens and thousands of dollars that's coming from your clients. Okay? And other problem that we see with check is it's just a fraud waiting to happen. Fraud may come internally or externally. There was a marketing company in New York. They found the checks were disappearing. They were not getting it anymore. And they found they have been redirected to a new address because scammers now have the technology where they can change the pay name, they can change the amount, and they can cash out those checks. And last I heard, they were still trying to recover their money after 6-7 months. They were able to recover only around 60-70% of their AR. And that's not a good situation to be in for a business that is already facing harsh macro environment. Okay? We are aware of the market, how the market is behaving today. Everything is down. There's a talk of trade wars and tariffs and supply chain problems and high interest rates. It makes very, very difficult for businesses to do any kind of reasonable scenario planning. Okay? On top of that, it's very, very hard to find, recruit, and hire a talent. You might be able to find young people without any skills, but very, very hard to find a trained person. Accountant shortage is well known. Okay? And these people, they don't want to work with the new generation of employees. They don't want to work with the old legacy technology where they have to walk down the hall to get signature from a stakeholder. Okay? They have been born in the new world with a cell phone in their hand. They don't enjoy the experience where they have to write checks and follow up or answer those supplier phone calls. Where is my payment? Those kind of things. So this creates a massive opportunity for accountants because your clients may not be aware that there is a digital bill pay payment platforms are available now that can do all the heavy lifting for the bill pay, But you as an accountant know that these kind of things are possible. Now modern technology is there that can do all the back end work for you. Once you set up and configure it, it works automatically every week, every day, every month. And that's how you can bring efficiency and cut cost, save those $10,000 that I talked about by introducing a bill pay kind of services. Bill pay is traditionally been considered a part of CAS, client advisory services. Yeah. You might feel that your clients are happy with the services, but there's no option to offer them more services. But I can share, as being a business owner, that it makes me very happy when I receive a call from my accountant. I'm always looking for more services from my accountant. That's the different studies also show. And this creates a predictable and recurring revenue stream for your business. Because look at the bill pay, it's a critical part of the business operations. So once you are engaged into those operations, those clients are going to stay with you forever. Yeah? They'll be more loyal to you. Yeah? Now because you will have visibility into where the cash is coming in, where the money is being spent, a front row seat. So you will be able to provide cash flow advisory services and other advisory services, high valued one, at a level that wasn't possible before. Okay? But you can do it only if you use AI and automation to deliver that kind of services to your clients. Okay? These clients, they trust you. There's no one is more trusted than their accountants. Not even the banker or lawyer or teacher. And clients are looking for more and more services from you, where they can outsource some of their work, some of their back end work, and they can save time and money so that they can focus on the growth of their business, which is very important to them. Yeah? Because we have seen that the businesses, let's look at, anytime you start a new business, it's possible to grow very, very fast, maybe 50%, 100%, 200% a month, or maybe in a year, right? But that's something that's very, very hard to maintain over a long time. And we have seen the growth slows down over a time. And we have seen the businesses that are growing 10% or 20%, there's a big difference. The businesses who are growing at 20%, they're more likely to survive and thrive than the businesses who are growing just 10%. So look at those clients, who are growing less than 10%. They are at the risk. If you have clients who are growing at 50% or more, they are most likely to be targeted by their competitors for some kind of acquisition, where they might be offering some kind of adjacent services, so that when they buy your client, so they can enhance their product or services. If you have clients who are growing 100% or more, good luck. These are the good clients. They will lead to an IPO one day. Okay, these are the clients who will become public companies. Yeah? And every business wants to grow fast and fast. That's the way market is. Yeah? And they need your help. You can help them by introducing your services, your bill pay services, that's part of the CAS, by using a digital payment platform that can provide a great experience. You cannot expect yourself to provide amazing client services if you are still doing the work with the legacy technology, or still doing the work manually through those spreadsheets or writing checks. That's not going to happen. Okay? With the rise of automation in AI, we have seen stunning improvement in the quality of data that can be extracted from those invoices that come from those suppliers. AI can code those expenses automatically, very, very accurately now. Yeah? This wasn't possible 3 years ago, but now it's possible. Yeah? And you might have seen, and we have seen, a lot of new companies that had developed their business model just based on the AI, new process, new workflow, okay? And less need to review and just need to approve, review and approve. Those kind of things we see out there. And new generation of employees, they want to work with the new technology. Like I shared, they don't like the experience where they have to open 2 or 3 spreadsheet to see who is going to approve this payment, and then they need to write a check. I have seen people walking down the hall to get signatures signatures from the stakeholders. And these stakeholders, they may not be in the same office now. They might be working remotely, maybe in a different city or different country. That's what we have seen in many nonprofits that's out there. Yeah? And your competitors, they are investing in the technology too. If you don't do it, you are likely to fall behind. Very, very important. But how do you know? You might have these hundreds of clients and who need help with the bill payment. Yeah? That you can sort out only if you talk to them. Okay? Look at the data. Who are the clients who are paying late payment penalties? Okay? Who have compliance issues because they didn't have the 1099 there. They couldn't issue 1099 in a timely manner. They never collected those W-9 from those clients. These are the clients who get those angry phone calls from those suppliers. Where is my payment? Okay. These clients, they might be very unorganized. Because they're so focused on making those beautiful cupcakes that they love to bake. But no one is checking the mail that's coming from suppliers in a timely manner. They're drowning in those emails. Or they might be a paper-based office, if it's a mid-sized large company, paper-based, and they are spending a lot of time shuffling those papers, sometimes making those duplicate payments, incorrect payments. There are mistakes out there. Okay? It's very, very hard to find those approvals, okay? Because approval policies, they are buried somewhere in the spreadsheet. Okay? And just because the business owner is too hands-on, sometimes that's a problem. They want to sign every check. They want that kind of control. That's what we have seen. And fraud, that we have seen so many times. Some clients come to us because they have been burned by fraud. City next to us where I live, they have been burned by a fraud of almost $2.5–3 million. And because one of their team members, she was sending the checks out under her name, her ailing mom, and her non-functioning business. Now, city is trying to recover those funds. Good luck. Now, that's not going to happen because the money has already been spent on the gambling and the vacations and those kind of things. So some of these or all of these, they are symptoms of some kind of a manual, paper-based, intensive process. So these are the clients that we need to talk to them, because accounts payable, it impacts the bottom line. Okay, if you look at, for most businesses, it's the second largest liability on the balance sheet. Okay, right after any loans or line of credit, sometimes payroll. It's most finance leaders, they think it's a pretty labor intensive and time consuming process, double of what the AR process is. That's what we see. And how you manage how your clients manage their AP, it has direct impact on the cash flow. Maybe they are paying too early. Okay? They have some surplus cash. Maybe they are paying too early or too late. If they are paying too late, that's not a good situation to be in. It's going to damage their relationship with their suppliers. Okay? They might feel their business is not being valued. They might have to apply for a line of credit for their business, right? And they're going to blame your client for that one. Sometimes you lose relationship with those suppliers. And we have seen in some industries, it's very, very hard to replace those suppliers. Okay? Even if you get it, you're not going to get good terms. Okay, and it's going to be very, very expensive process. Okay? If you, and some suppliers, they report, these late payments to credit bureaus. Okay? As per experience, if a business is making a late payment by 30 days, it can lower their credit score by 50 points. It means if a client is late by 90 days, the score will be 150 points down. They are not going to get any kind of loan or line of credit or even SBA loan from the bank. Okay? These are the clients who need help. Okay? It's always a good idea to keep your accounts payable days close to the industry standard. Okay? Every industry has different requirement. Okay, let's a client's industry, the industry standard is 40 days. You don't want to pay in 58 days. Okay? Yeah, that's gonna be really bad. Yeah. And you don't want to pay early unless there is some kind of early payment discount. Okay, okay. Some clients, they're cash rich, but they should invest that money in the business growth than paying those payments early, unless they get some kind of early payment discount. And what kind of businesses are capturing early payment discounts? The businesses who have some kind of automated digital payment platform. Okay? These are the clients who capture early payment discounts 7 times more, 700%. You can see here, seven times more than the businesses who are not using any kind of digital accounts payable platform. Yeah. So how this work? Let's say the supplier gave them 210 net 30. So it means your clients, they are going to get 2% discount just because they are paying that bill 10 days early. Okay? 20 days early. Okay, they are paying in 10 days. Okay, the term is 30 days, but the bill is being paid in 10 days. So they are paying 20 days early. So that 2% saving, that becomes 36.5%. You are not going to get that kind of return from your bank or anywhere else. Very unlikely. So if you have clients cash rich, yeah, they should definitely take advantage of early payment discount. Yes, once you have an automated platform, you will be able to process more bills. Okay? You'll be able to handle multiple clients at a fraction of the cost. There will be less errors like duplicate bill payments, because most digital payment platform, including ours, we flag if there are duplicate bills. Okay? And we capture the data accurately using AI. Okay? And most platforms, they provide some kind of a audit trail. Okay? If something goes wrong, you can go back and look who made that kind of decision. Okay? And for sure, there will be less calls answering those angry calls from suppliers who are trying to chase those payments, because most accounts payable platform, they do share, they can share some AP data with the suppliers as well. They get some kind of portal access or access to the platform. Okay? So let's talk about how we can develop a process that's unique to each client. Okay? So every client is different. Okay? And we need to develop a process that's unique to their needs. Okay? They might have a different needs. Some might wanna eliminate those checks. Some might wanna introduce credit cards. Okay, they wanna make those payments with cards. Okay? And some wanna speed the approval process, or they wanna include additional stakeholders. Okay, so when you talk to them, look at the objectives they have. But at the minimum, a good AI-powered accounts payable process will have these 5 elements. Capturing the email, there should be a streamlined way to approve those bills. There should be electronic payment methods, and the data should be reconciled with your ERP or accounting system automatically, touchlessly. And there should be a good way to manage those suppliers, those vendors. Okay? Let's talk about capturing. Like at Forwardly, we provide each business a unique email address. That's how the most other vendors are also doing. The, all suppliers, they can send their invoice to that email address. We read the data, AI reads the data, and it fully capture it, code it to the right chart of accounts, and send it for approval. Okay? But one problem with the email is, email solution is, we all heard of phishing attacks. Okay, business email compromise is a name. BEC attacks, we call them. You might have seen the email seems like coming from the CEO of the company or a trusted vendor, but that's a fake email. That, so that so there are challenges. So you need to still review all of those emails, and because anyone can fake the domain name. Let's say you are dealing with Microsoft, anyone can send an email as Microsoft from com. That's a huge challenge. At Forwardly, we solve this problem through our Forwardly Business Network, FBN. We have built the technology where invoice can move from one accounting system to another accounting system seamlessly with all the actual data. Okay? With all the data, vendor name, supplier name, terms and condition, and when the data moves, it's 100% accurate. Okay, so that's a one accounting system to another accounting system. People love it. Okay, once they start using it, they love the experience because they're not dependent on email. The bills are getting automatically drafted out there on the other side. Okay, currently it works for QuickBooks and Xero. Between them, either we can move the data in either direction. So if you would like to give it a try, please talk to us. And then the platform should have a good approval process. What we have seen common is, if the bill amount is, let's say, less than $5,000, one person can approve it. Bill is more than 20K, the approval is needed from two people, and anything above 20K, it needs an approval from the CEO. Okay? That's one way to do it. Some companies, what they have done is they want to include the stakeholders from those respective departments. Let's say your marketing department is working with an outside PR company. So it does make sense to send any kind of invoice for the marketing expenses and route that to the head of marketing so that they can, because they will know if the work was done or not. And there are other ways to have built the approval workflow there too. You can do based on the chart of account, you can do based on the vendors. There's so many ways you can have your approval policies. Whatever works for the client. Every client is different. Then you want to have electronic payment options. Okay, completely eliminate checks. Okay? We talked about that with their slow, fraudulent. There are so many problems. The last year, what I heard, there was more than 700K fraudulent cases of the checks. It's the number is going up. Even the check uses is going down. Okay? So you do want electronic payment methods like ACH. They cost a fraction of the check. Okay? Or card payments. So these payment methods, they give you the better transparency. Your supplier, the vendor will have clear visibility when the payment is going to hit their bank account. And once the payment is done, we want to make sure the system marks those bills as paid, reconcile in the accounting system. Okay, so that you don't have to enter the data again. And there should be a clear vendor management. We should be able to onboard those vendors seamlessly, collect their full information, collect the W-9, so that we have the name, address, payment term, and how we're going to pay them, currency used, and any contract you had with them. All those kind of things should be there. So good vendor management is an important part of a good AI-powered AP system. So once you implement a system, whether Forwardly or any other platform, you need to make sure you monitor it, because people need to be trained a bit, and we want to make sure those W9s are still being collected, and data is being reconciled. So monitoring is needed, and sometimes you need to do some fine tuning. Might need some changes in the approval workflow, those kind of things. So it's a process. One time set up and configure it, and monitoring is part of the journey. Yeah. There are multiple ways you can work with a client. Most common we have seen is the accounting firm. They are going to set up the back office function. They'll be responsible for ingesting those invoices and capturing data and making sure they're coded correctly. But the business owner, they are still a stakeholder in the approval process, so they can see the money going out of the business every day. There are some clients, they don't want to be involved. They want a fully outsourced service, and it does create a lot of lift for the firm, and it's going to be expensive process. But clients love it because it creates time for them. It free up their time. They want to be completely hands off. They don't enjoy the experience. So they'll say, if any invoice is forwarded to you, it means it's approved to pay. Some of you might say, no way I'm going to take that kind of risk. I'm not going to do everything. So there's an option that you set up and configure it, and client take full responsibility. And the client is going to make sure that everything is coded correctly and the bills are being paid on time. And firm is going to be just going to set up one time and maybe do some periodic checks to ensure that the data is still being reconciled and the W9s are still being collected, and the data is being read, so that you're not chasing that kind of information at the tax time. Okay? It doesn't matter which option you go with. Okay, every client is different. Okay? But once you implement a modern platform, you will have a process that's going to capture all the invoices, all those bills that are coming from suppliers, automatically code them to right GL. Okay? And you will have a streamlined approval process that works for that specific customer. Okay? One important thing about approval is clear separation of duties is very important to prevent fraud, and it's going to protect client. It's going to save the business as well. And we want to make sure those payments are electronic. ACH, RTP, FedNow, these are the instant payment solutions out there. If you are late, let's say the due date is 30th, and you don't need to send those payment on 25th. Now we have the technology where you can send the payment on 30th to these clients and save that money. And the modern platform, they're going to reconcile with your ERP platform or accounting system, and you will have a streamlined and compliant vendor management platform for the business. We are seeing more and more. I talked about the data capturing and how AI vision models they are able to extract the data automatically from those invoices. So what we see out there, that modern AP platform, they are able to capture. They are working more and more like self-driving cars, right? Like Waymo. So once there might be some nervousness in the early days, but once you start using it, you feel more comfortable. Yeah? Because these platforms, they have some kind. These are being developed with some kind of a built-in guardrails. Yeah? Guardrails where the users are always in control. Yeah? So the system learns from you. Okay? It learns from you how you are approving those bills, declining those bills, who are the suppliers, how long you have been dealing with them. Okay? So you configure the system one time, and you let it run. It learns from you, and slowly it start making those decisions. So, but anytime, in case you don't agree with the decision that's made by the system, you can always step back in and control. And let's say there was a payment was approved, that you have been dealing with a party that for last 3 years, and the payment was automatically approved because it was more or less the same amount, but you know that the agreement has been terminated. So you can still take back that kind of control, step in there. Okay? It's going to learn from you and make sure the next time it doesn't happen. So I would say start with the small trusted vendors first, and see, so that you are comfortable, and slowly, you can roll it out for other clients as well. But good thing about all these AI powered systems is you get the full visibility, yeah, and control as well. Yeah. Why those decisions are being made. Yeah. I know there is some concern among accountants, that about AI, but we do a lot of work with AI, and let me share that AI is not here to replace accountants anytime soon. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Okay? But definitely it can replace your experience, the way you have been doing the work. It will never be replaced to your intelligence or your creativity, but any kind of manual repetitive work, that kind of work is at the risk, and that is going to be replaced by the system like Forwardly. We are working on this, and we see our competitors are also investing time and energy into that one. So it's a great time that we learn how these systems work. We are going through one of the biggest transformation of our lifetime, just like when the internet came. Yeah? So get comfortable, because it's going to make your work more meaningful, more fun, and more strategic in nature as well. Yeah? Clients who are using automation and AI, yeah, they are able to increase revenue. They are able to serve way more clients, yeah, uh, by without investing in human resources, without adding any more manpower. Yeah? So there's a great opportunity to help these clients, help them grow while also helping your firm, increasing the value of your firm and revenue. We have helped thousands of businesses and hundreds of accounting firms with your accounts payable process. So if you have any client that needs some help in streamlining their bill pay services, yeah, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would be happy to talk to you. Thank you, and I hope this session was informative for you. And let us know if you have any questions. So keep them sending. And now I'm going to pass this to Jane.
Yes, thank you so much, Nick. So before we jump into questions, and we do actually have a few that have come in, Nick, so we'll be ready to answer them in a minute. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for attending, and also highlight how we support our partners here at Forwardly. So we know that modernizing your AP can really transform how your firms operate. We can deliver that value to your clients and help you grow without necessarily adding that more staff or overhead. So that's why we're not just here to provide you a platform. We're trying to partner with accounting firms like yours to help implement our AP service in a way that's scalable and rewards your firm for modernizing their clients' AP. So we're offering quite a bit of rewards for every business you bring to Forwardly. We're just in the middle of revamping our program right now to offer quite a bit more than what it says on our website. So if you're interested, make sure to reach out to me at jane@forwardly.com, and I will bring you all up to speed on that and get you started. Through the Forwardly Partner Program, you're going to get priority support. You're going to get invited to sneak peeks of our upcoming features and updates. We do some special giveaways, and you'll get the ability to give some ground floor feedback on what we're working on and what we've built. When you give us feedback, we are also going to listen. We're going to, I can guarantee you every time you write in a ticket, it's going to somebody who is going to prioritize it and bring it up to our team in our regular meetings, and make sure that the features that you need are being communicated to the people who make those decisions. We're also always looking to amplify voices through thought leadership or even help partners attend conferences. So really don't hesitate to reach out if you're interested. Our partner program is free to join, and we make sure that you have everything you need to start making bill pay a strategic advantage for your firm. So if you're ready, make sure to visit forwardly.com/partners to get started, or reach out to me specifically. So now that Nick has had a minute to take a breather, let's get to some of the questions, I guess. Nick, do you want to go to the next slide? All right. So we also have a QR code up on the screen that allows, so we have a toolkit about practical AI tools for accountants. If you scan that code, it'll take you right to the download for that. So make sure to scan that if you're interested in a little bit more from us on AI. But otherwise, Nick, we do have a couple of questions in from Brian in the chat.
Sure.
So first question is, how does AI-driven bill capture compare to human data entry in terms of accuracy and error rates?
So let's step back. Traditionally the OCR, we know about the OCR. This was the technology when the legacy payment platform that they are still using those kind of technology. But in the last few years, we have seen AI vision models, and these what we have seen, they are very, very accurate. Yeah? In some cases, the accuracy comes to close to 99%. That's what we have seen. I wouldn't say they are close to 100%, but close to between 95 to 99%. That's what we see again and again. Okay? Sometimes it still have problems in reading those invoices. Those whether it's an S or 5, those kind of things. There's still a problem. That's why we have this Forwardly business network. We believe that anytime you have to read any kind of printed invoice, it's never going to be 100%. We are solving this problem with our Forwardly business network. The way it works is we connect two accounting systems through APIs. So data is always going to be 100% accurate, and you cannot go more accurate than that. Okay? So yes, AI is there, but we are further augmenting it with our Forwardly business network. So if you have thousands of counterparty or hundreds of them, and you use our platform, our network, then those invoices will come with 100% accuracy. Okay? But in this case, both systems, they need to be at the Forwardly platform, which I believe is not possible in every time. So for that, there's a backup method of the AI visions, and it's pretty accurate, and it's going to get better and better with time.
Yeah, and I think the question was specifically relating to that human data entry point, and I'll just say from my own perspective, as somebody who sends a lot of invoices, for us, we're not just the people who created Forwardly, we're also clients of it. When we're doing marketing events, when we're doing when we're working with companies like Earmark, we use Forwardly to pay. This is how we pay our bills as a company. So we've been, previously, we've had time-consuming AP processes, and since we've switched to using our bill inbox, it's gotten so much easier just from our own perspective of how much more accurate our bills are. We don't have to chase the invoices anymore. Pardon me. Things are running a lot more smoothly from our end. And I don't have any specific statistics on that, but I know that if there are some available, and I believe they're actually in the download, the QR code download there, that has quite a bit more sources into the differences between AI and human bill capture. So
yeah, anytime, Jane, you involve human, there'll be mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Humans will be making mistakes, and we get burned out, we lose focus, there are always problems. Okay.
Yeah.
But what we see, the modern accounting systems, they have some kind of automation, they have APIs, but there are some platforms like SysPro, right? We talked about that one, and there is a limited options out there. So for those kind of cases, you do need a human who is entering those bills in the system. Okay? So that's a challenge, but if there are PDF or any kind of image file or even handwritten notes, AI is there that can read those data very, very fast, very accurately today.
Because I think a large portion of it is that when you're, if you are the one who is importing the bills and invoices, and practically you're being sent PDFs and you're doing that lowest level of looking at a PDF and typing it into something, you're basically spending a huge portion of your brain power just
Yeah.
looking between screens and typing
Yeah.
things down. What we're essentially doing is we're getting rid of that step and leaving you to just be the one who just does that quick A, B, yep, they match. Okay, perfect, check. Which is just a lot of mental energy taken away. And with that can be put on other tasks.
Yeah, and even if Jenny, you have let's say you have paper-based invoice, you can take a picture and you can upload that at the Forwardly platform. We'll be able to read that data too. Okay?
Yep.
In this case, your supplier didn't send the email to the dedicated email address that we provided to you, but as long as you have access to a piece of paper or a digital file, you can take a picture, you can scan it, you can email there, or you can upload there manually as well.
All right. And Brian did have a follow-up question, which was, what are some specific, or are there any specific KPIs firms should monitor to measure the revenue impact of implementing a new AP process?
Yeah. Could you repeat the question again so that
Yeah.
I want to make sure? Yeah.
So are there any specific KPIs that firms should monitor to measure the revenue impact of implementing a new AP process?
Very good question. Yeah. So every firm has a different kind of KPIs, right? Some firms they want to monitor, they were spending so much time and human resources on before implementing any kind of digital payment platform. Okay? Let's say the time it was taking to approve and make the bill payment. Some measure the approval time, some measure the bill payment time, and how much time it was taking, how much manpower was needed to approve those kind of bills. And I have some KPIs, Jane. That we have some document. I can provide that kind of information. There are, I believe, 5 or 7 KPIs that different firms that they measure, and we'll be able to email that to the client.
Yeah, I know. I know when we were working on a case study recently, just with a business who started using us for AP, they were specifically looking at the average time by their bookkeeper who was doing the bill importation and doing that manual entry themselves. So how much that person now had reallocated to other tasks. So they were looking at that as a primary KPI. And then average time, because they had some bills that were getting paid late. So they were looking at that as an additional aspect of how often are their bills paid late now, because perhaps before there was an aspect of sometimes the date would be entered wrong. And then they were also looking at overall team impact of checking in with people weeks later to say, hey, are you still having to follow up with invoices as often or bills as often now? Do you still find yourself, getting those email reminders when you need to? So those are a few. I know those aren't specific, look for X amount, but I mean, if you can talk to 5 people and say, oh yeah, this saved me time, I no longer have to do X, that's a pretty good indicator that they're getting more time for other things. And depending on their role, that could mean that that's a really good task for them to be working on instead. So
yeah.
And Brian says, thanks. Thank you, Brian. Great questions. All right. And then we did get another question in from one of our other channels, not on StreamYard. How easy is it to migrate vendors to Forwardly? Nick, did you want to touch on that?
Yes. So it's we have built a pretty streamlined process. You can, if you have few vendors, you can create those vendors manually and Forwardly, and we can always fetch from your accounting system like QuickBooks, Xero, or Sage Intacct, whatever the platform you are using, we are able to fetch directly from there as well. Yeah. And if you have hundreds of vendors, then I guess you want to talk to us, because we have a white glove service where we can do a bit more automation for you, so that there's no more work or any kind of issues out there, and you get better experience through the platform.
Yeah, and it should be mentioned that all of our everything we work on, we're SOC 2 Type 2 accredited or certified. So we're using, whatever system you use with us, it's all coming through very securely, and bank grade security is what we're aiming for with our platform and what we've been certified for. So the idea with us is that we're definitely trying to take away the emphasis with our clients. Like, if you are holding onto your vendor's bank information yourself, you would then be able to start using Forwardly. We can request their information securely, and then you are no longer having to hold onto sensitive banking information. So that's another kind of benefit of our platform if you are currently juggling banking information, which not everybody likes to do.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to drop that in there. All right. That's the majority of the questions we have. Make sure to throw them in the chat if you do have any more. Otherwise, Nick, anything else you wanna share?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you have any questions, and you have some questions about onboarding vendors, or we have an accounts receivable platform too. If you need a streamlined process where you want to collect those invoices automatically from your clients, we have an accounts receivable platform. And the thing here is, if you have a digital payment platform, you can do a lot of things. Like Brian asked, those KPIs. You talked about the time to approve a bill. That's important for some firms. Okay, some measure payable, or how much fee was paid before, or how much time, how much it was costing them to pay a bill before. Those kind of things are important to you. So once you have a platform, you can start measuring those kind of things as well. So talk to us and let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah, I will say, with our audit trail as well, if you were concerned about, say, for instance, like one of your payment approvers not being efficient enough with their approvals, you would be able to see in our audit log when the request for approval was first sent and how long it took them to actually get to it. That all is tracked. So if you were having concerns about that, that could potentially be significantly easier for you to track that kind of efficiency with, a certain team member or the overall team, versus, say, going through emails and being like, see, look, Jerry took like 8 hours this one time. That's ridiculous. What was he doing all day? Much easier to see in Forwardly when it's like, this went out this time, it was approved at this time, this person approved it then, yada, 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 all the way down. So those approval logs really do help.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it.
That's it. So
Thanks, everyone. Here's a quick reminder on if you're attending here live, on how to get your CPE for attending today's webinar.
Today's event has ended. To earn CPE, go to earmark.app or scan the QR code on the screen. Then log in or create your free account. Search for the course by tapping on the magnifying glass icon on the home screen and then entering the name of this event. It takes a few days to make the course, so if you're attending this event live, keep an eye out for an email letting you know when the course is available. Pass the quiz to earn your CPE, then tap the button to email yourself a certificate. Stay tuned for more events from Earmark. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.